Hello everyone, my name is Matt Gannis. I'm a senior technical staff member here at IBM in Hawthorne, New York. In Second Life you'll find me as Astro Saber. I'm here today with my partner in crime, Mr. David McNeil, better known as DB McSmalls when he's in-world. We're here today to talk about our paper, moving from an experimental to a meaningful Second Life experience. David and I have been involved with the IBM Com Second Life Island since its inception back in late 2006, early 2007. The intention of the island was to provide a location where our customers can come to IBM and find not only information about our products and services, but to actually speak to and interact with IBM professionals. Yes, we have call centers and chat interfaces on the website, but they lack the face-to-face contact or the ability to add spatial interactions or responses to questions. As we grow this island and the content on it, we need to do it in a way that not only retains our existing visitors, in other words, they find it useful enough to return, but also to do it in a way that attracts new visitors, reaching out to those new users in an attempt to provide an experience they not only enjoy, but find useful and compelling. We've gone through several iterations of this on our island, as our island's changed, and we'd like to share with you some of those experiences we've had. But first, let me turn this over to David to discuss some of the interaction models that we've dealt with.
Thanks, Matt. Happy to speak to what insights we've developed into interaction models so far. To get the most out of their virtual worlds investments, companies like IBM, as they start to invest on improving their business processes by using virtual worlds, have to get skilled at what gaming companies have already mastered. And getting the interaction model right is key to creating the most meaningful experience possible. We found that a few musts are in order for almost all interaction models. Every interaction model must be attractive and have visual interest without overwhelming the visitor's visual sense. Must be interactive, generally highly so, and fun, with enough interaction to accommodate advanced sensibilities of gamers while allowing newbies to opt into as much of the experience as they can manage. And the interaction model must offer some variety in navigational choices, but without creating the complexity of a roadmap or forcing a disorienting and confusing experience on the user.
So what are some of the interactions or experiences we provided our visitors in the past? Well, if you look at a map of our island, which is shown as a heat map in the paper, you notice the IBM logo in the lower portion of the island or estate. It's actually a structure on the island, but it serves as a marker in Second Life identifying the island as belonging to IBM. Now around that logo, on the ground in Second Life, we have what we call the information trail. Its original intent was to house several video players, so that as an avatar would walk along the trail, they could stop and watch a series of videos pertaining to IBM's products or services or technology. Now what we found is that the preferred method of travel in Second Life isn't really walking large distances, but flying or teleporting from place to place, making this a less than compelling experience. Some of the main meeting places on our island, however, are in what we call our pods, and we have several, including the sales reception, support, innovation, and sales center. In these pods, visitors can meet with IBMers, and as they walk around the room, interact with a number of billboard-like signs that provide pointers or links to the web for additional information. These signs tend to work well for quick campaigns, but fail when it comes to bringing people back over time. And we've done experiments with virtual cappuccino machines and tribal drum playing as group icebreakers, and they work very well for the first time, but fail to provide any meaningful reason for people to return.
We soon found another sort of campaign that yielded more interesting and more satisfying results in how we addressed it in the virtual world. Across the country, units of IBM interest built quickly in mature countries that could afford to add their content to the Virtual Business Center, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region with its large constituencies that do not speak English as their primary language. The AP Geography undertook to add 2 pavilions to the Virtual Business Center, one each for Japan and China, each with a relevant cultural experience and, more importantly, with an overwhelming majority of content in the native language of those countries. To ensure that the Virtual Business Center could handle all comers due to the now lack of geopolitical boundaries, the interaction model for the entire Business Center estate was changed so that all key interaction objects all supported multiple languages. A good example of this is seen on our teleporters, which now have the ability to select the language for all the content displayed on the teleporters. On the heels of the AP Country Pavilions came yet another more interesting campaign due to IBM marketing forces seeking a deeper exploitation of the 3D environment. The campaign request that came to us was to offer a much bolder and more integrated statement, a virtual exhibition as it were, about how IBM's green products and services could make a difference in the energy efficiency of data centers. Many advantages accrued from using 3D virtual worlds for such an exhibition, providing ready access to the inside workings of a data center in ways not readily duplicated in real-life data center visits, using the immersive experience and interaction to simplify visitors' understanding of complex concepts and processes in data centers, and providing a venue of multiple interaction modes, self-guided tours, one-on-one demo and sales support, group tours with a trained staff guide, on-demand customer briefings, and sales team education. All this worldwide with no travel requirements, something practically impossible in real life. The end result contains all of IBM's product lines and the majority of the energy efficiency services that IBM offers in one small locality in the Virtual Business Center, called the Virtual Green Data Center, creating an integrated, easily accessed set of messages that anyone can experience. The hope of this exhibition is that word-of-mouth publicity in IBM's marketing channels and in SecondLife will expand audience reach and awareness of IBM's leadership and offerings for greening up data centers.
Over time, as we've moved to these new models, we've seen the percentage of new to existing users, now by existing I mean those avatars that we see returning to our island, increase from an average of 25 to 38%. Now what's interesting about that number is that while the percentage increases, we're seeing a decrease in the total visit rate. Perhaps that's due to the less compelling content that was on the island previously. And looking where people spend most of their time, we can see through the heat map that the largest amount of visitor time is spent at our virtual data center, followed by the sales reception pod, which has 24/7 live IBM coverage, and our briefing center, which is a large outdoor arena where we typically host information sharing events. The activity center, labeled number 3 on the heat map, sees the next heaviest amount of traffic, followed by number 4, the Chinese and Japanese pavilions, indicating to us that culturally relevant material is indeed important to our visitors. Now notice on the heat map there are virtually no red dots around the information trail or within some of the lesser used pods. Again, indicating to us that the less interactive, non-culturally relevant material isn't drawing much of a crowd.
So I'll wrap up with some implications we see out of our work so far. Even though we're now in an early adopter phase for 3D virtual world technologies, we already see playing out in practice that the theory of increased cognition of complex processes does take place with 3D renderings even in business domains. Moving on, we see that 3D virtual worlds are enabling some game-changing possibilities in marketing and sales spaces already. One clear generalization that is evident is that suppliers, and especially suppliers of complex solutions, can now reasonably and affordably start to model their marketplace solutions for prospects and customers in virtual worlds. Because virtual worlds are inherently collaborative, we can think about combining predefined virtual assets with adequate skills to produce models of the target solution for a given prospect. And the models and virtual objects that we will get from such collaborations likely will have enduring value starting from prior to the business transaction where the customer actually buys the solution and continuing on into the operations of the solution through its lifetime. The suppliers who exploit this new mode of game-changing collaboration, especially those who have built mass customizable product or solution sets, stand to reap manifold benefits and the profits that flow from them. That pretty much wraps up what we wanted to say. Thanks from all of us in the virtual world community at IBM for the opportunity to present at your conference.